Hi, back again. And yeah, so here's a story about my drinking. I stopped drinking the end of 2019 when my hair dropped out. No, but I stopped drinking just after that New Year's Eve of 2019. So we went into 2020 and I said, I'm going to do a month without drinking. So I did January, and then I said, oh, that's quite good. Maybe I'll do a year. So I did a year. But anyway, my drinking, it's been 5 years, over 5 years now, because we're in February, and it's been over 5 years without alcohol, and I got a few tips of how to do it, but I also got a few sort of opinions about why we drink and what happens in our lives. Is that basically when we're kids, especially in England, in the UK, you start by going out with your mates, you go down pubs, we were going to clubs in the late 70s, and it was the soul boy, soul girl scene at the time, and it was all party time. And this is before Ibiza. All the guys I used to knock around with all ended up in Ibiza with making the clubs there and doing all the nights, and they started the whole club scene that you got today was created by some of the guys I was knocking around with. And yeah, so it was an okay thing. You used to get drunk at the weekend and get a bit drunk. Fuck. I just dropped my phone. Fantastic. Yeah, I used to get drunk at the weekend and have a laugh, and then that was it. The rest of the time you didn't drink. And then in the 80s I was musician and all the rest of it, and out every night playing and gigging in the south of France. And it was, when you gig in a club or whatever, or piano bars back in the day, you used to get free booze. So it was like, do you want a drink? Yeah, all right, have a whiskey or whatever. I used to have a couple of drinks every night, and that just sort of went on and on and on. You just got used to it. That was it. A few beers. I used to like beer, so a few beers, a few whiskeys, and and feel a buzz, but nothing. Didn't get drunk too much, and from time to time used to end up getting really drunk. And then you'd be off it for a week or two, and then back on it a bit, and that went on for the 80s, like my 20s, and in 30s. In my 30s, it was like I was going out less, I was gigging less, I had a studio and I was working more in production, so I was drinking at home. So I was having a bottle of wine with the wife, and a few beers on the side, and a couple of maybe stronger drinks sometimes, but not all the time. I wasn't a strong liquor drinker, I was more wine and beer. And then it goes on to your 40s, and in your 40s you're kind of not going out at all. From time to time you go to a restaurant or out with friends and stuff and have a few bottles of wine and some beer and stuff, and then yeah, that was good fun. But the rest of the time it's a couple of beers at home and some wine. And then in your 50s you're still doing the same thing, and I was DJing as well. In my 40s, 46, I started DJing after producing. I mean, that's another story, but I was out DJing. I did that for a month and ended up doing it for 8 years. 8 years in a pub that had opened up a bar next door, which was kind of like a lounge bar, and called the Morrisons. And I was drinking every night pints there. It was pints, and I was going home on my scooter as well. But I wasn't drunk. I was okay. I could hold a beer. I'd dab about 3 or 4 pints a night, and which was fine over a whole night. I was fine to drive back. I never got stopped or anything, and I had an English driver's license as well, so they didn't really bother, and but I never got in trouble or fell off my bike or anything. I was fine. But anyway, that went on, and I got to a point where it was just like at home I was drinking way too much wine. I was drinking a bottle of wine a day, having a few beers, and it was just going on and on. And then we'd come to Corsica, and my daughter was now living in Corsica, and so we were well into my 50s here, and it was getting a bit too much, so I'd stop every so often for about a month or two, and it used to do me a lot of good. And by the end of the 50s, my 50s, I got to a point where I said, I got to stop this, and I stopped. I completely stopped, and I started watching YouTube videos. These people here, I put the links in, and they were really good because I just followed them and watched them when I felt like I drank, and watched these videos and just found out about how bad it was for you and everything, and started really looking into it. And it took me over a year to kind of go into a phase of not wanting to drink anymore. It took about a year to go through all the different partying situations, well, not partying, event situations where you go to a wedding, or you go to funerals, or where you drink. And I wouldn't I went through all of that, going through the summer holidays, winter holidays, birthdays, weddings, and everything, like I said. And it was okay. I got through it all, and I felt fine. And I got another thing about why you drink, and I'll do another video about why people drink and the false kind of ideas of it, and which is quite interesting, because people think that they need drink to have a good time, and you really don't. But anyway, we'll go into that into the next video, because this is quite a big subject, drinking, and a lot of people are concerned by it. And we've got some problems in our family at the moment here in Corsica because of drink, and people are ill because of drink, and that's not good. Anyway, I'll talk to you soon about it. Cheers, see ya, bye.